Hey guys, we're doing a variant today of Miller's Tactical Victim. And it's a cool pattern. See this at Orvis. It's tied by Josh Miller, and it's kind of an emerger pattern, emerger fly pattern, but really the way I'm tying it today is just like a regular nymph. It's got the wing casing on the top. And yeah, this has been working for me this trout season down here in Texas. Even though they're a bunch of pellet heads, they've worked really well against some larger fish. I was very surprised that it ended up taking. We just recently had Trout Fest. George Daniel is one of the main speakers, and he really talked about having a lot of flies with a silver bead instead of other colors. I'm usually tying it in olive colors or like brown rust colors, so I wasn't really using silver, especially with like a darker pattern like this. But he was saying within areas that we've got, big ripples, big water coming down, where it's, real bubbly, stuff like that, that silver really gives it some flash and really sticks out. So let's go tie it. Okay, so with this pattern, we're going to start out pretty simple. We've got a size 16 jig hook, 60-degree jig hook, Euro nymph hook. I'm using the Orvis Tactical Barbless. I think the 5/16 fire holes would work fine. Anything that has a pretty decent hook gap will work for you. The bead itself is a little bit bigger. This is probably, I think, a 2/8 if I'm correct on it. Obviously, you want to make sure that's fitting well. You could use a 2/4 and be fine. I just want a little bit more weight provided on that. So we'll just get that bumped up. Use the thread to just kind of wrap, and once that bead stops moving around, you're in a good spot. So let's go ahead and get that cut. We'll wrap that just where it starts to bend. I'm not gonna add any bulk to it right now. I kind of want it a little skinny. I'm gonna take off probably about, 4 or 5 pieces of pheasant tail. And I'm gonna measure that out, just being the size, the length of the shank. And again, this is where keeping proportions as you tie different patterns on, keep them all uniform. I'm gonna cut this just a tad long. Now, trying to get it right where the slotted part of the bead is. I'm gonna hold those materials a little bit closer to me, only because as you wrap, they'll start to move on you. Okay, so not too bad. Nice little long tail. It's not like too long, but if you notice, a lot of times with mayflies, their bodies are a little bit long. Alright, next thing I'm using is a little bit of, let's see what we got here. We got some black brassy wire. Use small's fine. I just want like a little bit more thickness onto this fly. Okay, this is where I'm going to start building up just a little bit of body. Kind of move your way to the middle and then work your way back so you can keep a little bit of that taper. Okay, start wrapping. And get that locked in place. A little helicopter to bust that off. Bust it off good. Alright. I've got like a little scud dubbing assortment. I'm going to use orange to make a little hot spot. I don't need too much. And so what I'll do is kind of pull it apart. Allows it to be a little bit more pliable. I'll go ahead and spin that. Make a dubbing noodle. And when I tie this down, I want to make sure I kind of go in figure eights. And it kind of helps lock in those materials and they won't slide on you. Kind of pull the axis. And then I'm going to come in with some ice dubbing in olive brown. You can use black, you can use whatever other color you want. There's really no wrong or right answer here. Maroon has worked, brown has worked. You do the same thing, kind of just pulled it apart and then put it back together. Make a little dubbing noodle. Again, kind of get those wraps to figure eight. And come in with our whip finish, and again push through. Clean up little extra fibers. But you got something that's got a little bit of that hot spot. We'll come in with some loon black finish. And blow out some of those air bubbles that are in there. Boom, hit it with a light. You got that nice little wing case on there. There you go. Pretty simple, pretty easy. Type a dozen of these. This is a size 16 on the hook with a 2.8 tungsten silver bead. And recently we had Trout Fest here in New Braunfels, Texas. We had George Daniels come and speak, and I like going with a little bit of the bigger beads, if you will. 3 2s, stuff like that. And he was saying, no, go with 2 4s, that'll be fine, and then supplement and go with silver, especially in areas where you have, moving water, active water, stuff that's, there's a lot of riffles, a lot of, foam and stuff like that that you see, for lack of a better word. And he's saying those silvers really work on that bead head. So that's what we're rolling with now. We'll keep some other videos going, see in the future if it does make a difference. But yeah, there you go.